I call this meeting of the Public Health and Safety Committee to order. Today is Tuesday, November 4th, 2025. Don't believe we had anyone sign up for public comment. All right, so we're going to start off with my proposed consent agenda. Going to go through these items first. On consent, I've got item number 1, number 3, and number 5. So I'm going to go through reading those captions now. Item number 1, RS 2025-1600, a resolution appropriating a total of $452,444 from the Metropolitan government acting by and through the Metropolitan Board of Health to Streetworks and approving a grant contract by and between the Metropolitan government acting by and through the Metropolitan Board of Health and Streetworks for the provision of emergency financial assistance, medical case management, nutrition services, psychosocial services, early intervention services, and transportation for participants in the Ryan White Part A program. Sponsors Toombs, Huffman, Welsh, and Gadd. Item number 3, RS 2025-1602, sponsors Toombs, Huffman, Bradford, Welsh, and Gadd, a resolution accepting a grant from the Friends of Metro Animal Care and Control to the Metropolitan government acting by and through the Metropolitan Board of Health to provide funding for various programs for shelter animals. And lastly, item number 5, BL 2025-1106, sponsors Welsh, Toombs, Huffman, Gadd, Allen, and Ewing, an ordinance approving a limited revocable license agreement between the Metropolitan government acting by and through the Metropolitan Board of Health and Cosicha Community Development to create, operate, and maintain a non-commercial community garden on the west side of the Woodbine Clinic to utilize Metro property to improve community health and nutrition. Does anybody need anything taken off the consent agenda? Do I have a motion to approve? Do I have a second? Any discussion? All those in favor, aye. Opposed, no. Consent agenda passes 7 in favor, 0 against, 0 not voting. All right, moving right along, RS 2025-1601, sponsors Toombs, Huffman, Welsh, and Gadd. Resolution appropriating a total of $211,866. Said that number a little bit wrong. From the Metropolitan government acting by and through the Metropolitan Board of Health to the United Neighborhood Health Services, Inc., DBA Neighborhood Health, Inc., and approving a grant contract by and between the Metropolitan government acting by and through the Metropolitan Board of Health and United Neighborhood Health Services, Inc., DBA Neighborhood Health, for a provision of outreach services for participants in the Ryan White Part A program. The main reason this is off consent is there was a late substitute by Councilmember Toombs. That is just a housekeeping item, just to be clear. There is, in the caption, the word outreach is changing to outpatient. So that's a quick explanation on the late substitute. We do need someone to move that. Okay, and second, okay. Any discussion on the late filed item? All those in favor, aye. Opposed, no. All right, now moving on to the item as amended. So we now have RS 2025-1601 as amended. Do I have a motion? Do I have a second? Any discussion on the item as amended? All those in favor, aye. Opposed, no. 7 in favor, 0 against, 0 not voting. Moving along, item number 4, RS 2025-1617, sponsors Evans, Gadd, and Benedict. A resolution supporting the mayor's office and the Department of Social Services in coordination and partnership between government, nonprofits, and philanthropic organizations to support local food banks in preparation for disruptions to the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, also known as SNAP. I will note that there are several other people that have signed on to that, so my apologies for not listing those sponsors. It's just not listed on my sheet. We have an amendment that is proposed on this, and Councilmember Evans, would you like to be recognized?
Yes, I'd like to move the amendment, please.
Okay. All those in, I'm sorry, back to you, Chair Evans.
Thank you. I just wanted to open it for discussion since I know there's some late breaking news on some of the conversation from the Choose How You Move discussion yesterday that impacts like the conversation around the amendment. And so I don't know who wants to speak from the administration or Choose How You Move or we go, whoever would like to speak about what's going on.
Thank you, Councilmember Evans. Who would like to speak to that?
Good afternoon. Amanda Vandergrift, Deputy CEO at WeGo Public Transit. We were excited to announce and wanted to say thank you very much for your really thoughtful suggestions yesterday shared with us on the Journey Pass program, and especially to reach residents currently enrolled in the federal SNAP program. Journey Pass is Nashville's largest ever fare-free transit initiative, and through Choose How You Move, funded through Choose How You Move. And to date, more than 2,500 residents have received a quick ticket card today. That's moving around right now. We also have over 14,000 free fare rides that have happened since we've put those into circulation. But to better serve our SNAP residents who need immediate access today, we expanded enrollment, and we will be expanding enrollment beginning tomorrow at our WeGo Central facility. So we sent that out to you, and we appreciate your active involvement. And that will be beginning at 7 a.m. to 1 p.m. tomorrow and 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. We also have several other events happening at the Duff Transit Center over the next few days, so that was sent along to you.
Councilmember Evans.
Thank you. I just wanted to know if you could, some of the things that were brought up in the special called meeting around kind of process. So is it, I guess, could you walk through the process? Will people be bringing kind of their documentation like to the transit center, and then you all will be set up and they'll go through it like if they were at Metro Action Commission or another agency?
Yes, thank you. Great question. So the way we've designed it right now is focusing specifically on the SNAP benefits program. So we're asking that SNAP benefits recipients bring a form of ID and their SNAP benefit eligibility letter. So we have more information on that in what was sent to you on exactly what we're looking for, and we'll have MAC on site to help support that as well in partnership with WeGo.
Okay, very good. And then as a follow-up, I know also from the discussion yesterday, there was, conversation around like increased security, things like that. And so do you feel like you have planned, I guess, for, that increased bump in ridership as a result of being able to enroll people more quickly?
Yes, the security funding that was put forward through Choose How You Move would be sufficient to process just the SNAP benefits, while we also then continue to slowly roll out the rest of the recipients of the Journey Pass program over the next few months. So that gives us time to really do our due diligence with the program rollout.
Okay, great. And then I guess my last question, and then anybody else who may have questions, feel free to ask those on the kind of the follow-up related to the board discussion. There was a lot of conversation around essentially kind of like, the board has authority to make kind of a sweeping change related to, waiving fees or fares, during kind of this shutdown period. And so I read it so quickly on the way over. Does that mean that there's going to be conversation as a follow-up around the board on their next agenda on the 20th, kind of around like this emergency offering that you guys are going to execute, and then kind of what the results look like and things like that at the next meeting?
Thank you for your question. Yeah, I know the board has been discussing this with CEO Steve Bland, and they will be discussing it at the next board meeting, I'm sure. But this would be something we'd be watching as part of the Journey Pass program, as that way of getting the folks from the SNAP benefit program cards as soon as possible.
Mm-hmm. Well, first of all, I really appreciate the responsiveness to yesterday's meeting. I did listen to it, even though I didn't get a chance to participate. And so I still want to move the amendment today, just in committee, and then I'll think about it if, I want to move it tonight, just to give people an opportunity to continue to ask questions if they have any.
Thank you, Councilmember Evans. Any other discussion on the amendment? All those in favor say aye. Opposed, no. Any abstaining? Item passes 7 in favor, 0 against, 0 not voting. That was the amendment. Yes, yeah, yes, that's correct. Yes. Now, as the amendment, we're moving the item as amended, and it's back to you, Councilmember Evans. You are.
I got turned off. So the resolution as a whole really is supportive in nature around the efforts of the mayor's office, in particular, Brittany Irby, Jamari Brown, many others within the administration about how they have galvanized resources, including the philanthropic community, Metro Action Commission, social services, around what the support of folks that are managing this SNAP reduction crisis in our county. And so that's the language of the resolution. There were a couple things that I requested as follow-up, in particular, that would be connected back to public health and safety, in particular for if the shutdown is still ongoing and SNAP has not resumed, then by the next meeting on the 18th, I requested that we get an update as a committee on how things are going, because I think that there's a lot of information and it's changing very quickly. And then, of course, now we have the additional announcement today at the state level about Governor Lee offering, the $5 million across the state to be able to support, food supply around the state. And so because of that, I also wanted to call out that I think the other challenge that I believe that we face at our level, not necessarily, on the administrative side, is we don't have the ability to randomly move money around outside of, a budget conversation. And so we're well past the budget, for this year, looking at what does the next fiscal year look like. And so I also requested, there be effort to identify any discretionary funds that may be available if the shutdown continues. What does that look like? How would that mean that we're supporting outside of being the convener? And so that's the other request that I put in here. And so I appreciate the work that has been done, especially the work of social services, as Director Pratt and her team have been out in the community and everything to make sure that people have access to food. And with that, I move approval.
Thank you, Councilmember Evans. Any other discussion on this item? Before we continue, just want to state, really appreciate WEGO's quick turnaround to just cement everything that Councilmember Evans said. There was a very spirited debate about this program last night, and less than 24-hour turnaround is pretty great. So thank you for that. All right, to the vote. So we're voting on item number 4 as amended. All those in favor, aye. Opposed, no. Any not voting? Item passes 7 in favor, 0 against, 0 not voting. That is all for the legislative section of our agenda. We do have a presentation coming up from the Public Safety Alliance. If you guys want to make your way to the front.
Okay.
Hello.
Okay, this one's on too.
Good evening. I am Pat Shea. I am the CEO and founder of the Nashville Police and Public Safety Alliance, and it is our pleasure to be here tonight.
Good evening. I'm Halim Genus. I am the Vice President of Partnerships and Programs for the Nashville Police and Public Safety Alliance. This is what you're talking about, Chair Huffman. Get a little feedback. This is our second year doing our annual public safety sentiment research, and this is our second year coming to this committee to present our findings.
So we are excited to be here. We hired a company called Impact Research. They had a lot of familiarity with Nashville as well as other communities on sentiment research. This past September, actually between September 2nd and September 14th, we interviewed 1,050 Nashvillians to find out how they feel about public safety and what they believe to be true about what causes crime and what can solve crime or improve public safety in Nashville. Our findings tonight, we're going to go through, really talk about the overall sample, but the information is also available by neighborhood. We used the 13 neighborhoods that were laid out by Imagine Nashville, and that data is available to anyone who's interested in it. The survey was actually conducted in both Spanish and English. We have an overall margin of error of a plus or minus 3% with a 95% confidence level. And we hope this information is valuable and you find it useful in what this committee does every single day to keep Nashville safe. So I'm going to turn it over to my partner, Helene Genis, who's going to take you through the findings.
Wonderful. Thank you, Pat. And every committee member has a one-pager of our findings in front of you. This is the executive summary. As Pat said, the full report is on our website, thenashvillealliance.org. I encourage everyone to take a look at the full report. Two things quickly about this report this year. We expanded the number of respondents. Last year we had about 754 actually. This year we had 1,000. And last year we broke up the analysis by precinct. This year we're really excited that we were able to break the analysis up by neighborhood, the neighborhoods, same neighborhoods that were used by Imagine Nashville. So I'll walk through this one pager and then I will yield for questions at the end. So the overall finding is that 67% of Nashvillians said that they feel that Nashville is safe. And again, this is a sentiment survey. And so the overwhelming majority of Nashvillians said they feel safe in Nashville. In contrast, about 58% of Nashvillians had a concern in the last year for their personal property. And that's about a 17% increase from last year to this year. And another contrast is that 33% of Nashvillians said they had a concern in the last year for their personal safety. So there's you see that sort of difference in concerns for personal property versus personal safety, continuing that sort of narrative that overall Nashvillians do feel safe in Nashville. Jump into that bar chart on the right. Despite the perception that Nashvillians feel safe, this was interesting. We asked Nashvillians, we asked our respondents, do they feel crime is rising in Nashville overall? And then we asked them, do you feel crime is rising in your neighborhood? And we saw 58% of Nashvillians said they believe crime is rising overall, compared to 36% of Nashvillians said crime is rising overall. And then if you look across, you see 25% of Nashvillians say that crime is staying the same in Nashville, and 44% of respondents said that crime is staying the same in their neighborhood. So one of the things that we found interesting was that sort of difference in perception of safety between the city at large and someone's individual neighborhood. We asked folks, respondents, about the causes of crime in Nashville, and we found that it's a combination of economic and legal factors. And so Nashvillians believe solutions include more after-school activities for young people, police training, and criminal justice reform. Poverty, availability of guns, lenient sentencing laws, and homelessness are considered significant factors to contributing to crime in Nashville. And then we asked Nashville about top approaches they support to improve public safety. I'm flipping over to the back with the pie chart. We saw, so in the center of the pie chart, you see the overall percentages for these solutions or approaches that Nashvillians were most likely to support. But then we broke this out by demographic because we saw some interesting and relatively significant differences in each of these categories by certain demographic lines, so whether by race and some, by gender and some, by age, by race and gender and some. So just really interesting. So the one with the plurality is more gun regulation. 23% of Nashvillians said they would most likely support more gun regulation, but we saw Black individuals over the age of 65 rated that at 34%. And similarly, women overall rated more gun regulation at 30%. And I'll do one more here. Implementing stricter jail sentences, 17% overall supported this. White respondents over 65 in general rated this one at 32%, and then men over 55 rated that one at 31%. So this, of course, again, is broken out more fully in the full report, but we're happy to provide that snapshot in this one pager. And then moving down, we asked about the perception of children's safety in Nashville, And we saw, the statement was, I believe children are safe in Nashville, and 51% of respondents disagreed with that. So there's a general feeling about the perception of children's safety in Nashville, and it is relatively negative. But Nashvillians generally feel safe again in their homes, workplaces, and certainly in their neighborhoods. Moving down to the bottom, we asked top issues for Nashvillians, and public safety and crime ranked third, coming in third place to cost of living in public school education. One of the things that we found really interesting was that Nashville say overall that their quality of life is very strong, with about 66% saying their quality of life is excellent or good in Nashville. And then in addition to, I guess not in addition to, but you have the neighborhood breakdown, and then we did a breakdown by region. And so you see a sort of regional map, because that's what could fit in this one pager, asking about public safety and crime as being extremely important. And you can see that breakdown by neighborhood, but public safety and crime ranks especially important in South Nashville, including Antioch, Cambridge, Priest Lake, Creve Hall, Breniac neighborhoods. So again, this is the snapshot of our report. We've got the full report on our website, and I've shared that report to every council member. One of the suggestions that came from last year was invitation to share this report at neighborhood associations. We did a couple of those really earlier this year, did a couple of precinct presentations. And so I guess the offer is still extended if folks would like to, whether you just use this data without us, or if you'd like us to join and participate and share the data, we'd be happy to do so. Thank you, Chair Huffman.
And I just want to add, this is part of our goal to provide reliable, transparent data to the community so that we increase and engage more people in conversation about public safety. So this is really a partner piece to the public safety dashboard, crime dashboard that we put out a few months ago. And any feedback that this group has in a way that we can make this data more available, easier to use, we would welcome that. But again, our goal is to be kind of a repository of great data on public safety that drives more community conversation.
Thank you, Pat and Halim. Great report. The data is always very interesting to look at, and we appreciate what y'all do every year. I do want to highlight that it is interesting. Number one, the demographics, breaking down what's most important. Also, just the overall regionality of perception of crime is very interesting to me. I do encourage my colleagues to take a deeper dive into this data. There's a lot of good stuff in here. But initially, I don't know if anybody has any questions, but I'll open it up. Looks like y'all are getting off easy.
I know.
Everybody's shy.
Well, we appreciate you coming today, and hope to see you back soon.
Thank you.
Yep. All right, y'all, just a couple of additional things on the agenda for today that I quickly will go through. We won't go through the whole Journey Pass program again. Thank you again, WeGo, for that update. So that was great. Couple of points. Number one, I sent out a press release earlier today. Members of the committee should have this on your desk, but the Public Health and Safety Committee is going to be starting an interpersonal violence work group. This is going to be an effort that is going to focus specifically on the realms of domestic violence and human trafficking in the form of public service announcements, really going to hone in particular on those areas. We are going to have the first meeting of this work group on December the 9th. So please mark your calendars if you have not done so. It'll be 2 o'clock in committee room 1. That'll be the first of many conversations, and we really want to open this up. So please feel free to drop by. Also, just a quick plug, the Southeast Precinct, the MNPD Southeast Precinct is opening up officially on Friday. Everyone is invited to this grand opening. It's 10 a.m. The address for that's 2467 Murfreesboro Pike. In particular, this is huge news for my side of town. The Hermitage Precinct will have a little bit smaller of a service area, which will improve overall response times. So looking forward to that. And lastly, just a plea. If you have a gun, for the love of God, don't leave it in your car. 851 guns stolen this year from cars, 17 from automobiles just last week. We've had a little over 1,100 total guns stolen for the year outside of cars. So that's all guns stolen. So think about that. 851 stolen from cars, easy access for thieves. And the majority of these, y'all, they're used in crimes. So this is really a thing that I just can't reiterate enough. I'm a gun owner, and I can tell you that my gun does no good in a car. So please just make sure that you're bringing your gun inside, unless there is an establishment that doesn't allow them, and then you shouldn't. All right, with that, we are adjourned. Thank you.
This has been a service of the Metro Nashville Network. If you would like to see this presentation again, or for more information on this and other programs, visit nashville.gov.